I don't want to linger on this because, you know, we're a very positive channel here, but Hasan has been engaging in some uncouth behavior, and I feel it warrants at least some level of criticism. So, the basic gist of it is there's a beef between Hasan and Adam something, who is a YouTuber who I'm quite fond of. Um, and naturally, without me doing anything, I got roped into this. I didn't I didn't I didn't go looking for engagement. Whatever. Okay. So, anyway, Adam something put out a video criticizing the Gravel Institute for their video on the Ukraine situation, like Nazis in Ukraine. And Adam something pointed out there were issues with it. And Adam something also criticized, I think, Hasan in the video, because Hasan had, up to the invasion and after the invasion began, uh, delivered some really bad takes. It wasn't so much his bad predictions as it was the way he handled disagreement, which I took issue with. But anyway, so Hasan is watching the video on stream.
Well, technically, they admitted that only 10 to 20%. Adam something posted a 40-minute video about how Gravel lies about Azov, so a bunch of Euro sock dems might come in here being fucking annoying. Dude, I'm sorry to say this, but, you know, Europeans and fucking being secret crypto neo-Nazis goes hand in hand sometimes, okay? Europe and pro-NATO Europeans being a fucking fan of Nazis or running defense for Nazis is not exactly news to me, okay? Holy shit. Also, Adam something, look, I know he's got some good videos on fucking, you know, engineering stuff, but deeply, deeply fucking frustrating to constantly you know, have this conversation, especially when it's literally an ex-alt-right guy who was a Nazi until like literally a fucking year ago, okay? Maybe it's real comfortable for someone to fall back into those propaganda talking points.
Anyway, I think this is a fairly unwarranted comment on Hasan's part. Adam something's video on the situation is really good and very unambiguously not a Nazi video. It's just a video which criticizes some very biased framing that the Gravel Institute engaged in, where they overstated and misrepresented the presence of the far right in Ukraine as a way to sort of implicitly justify pro-Russian invasion talking points, which is not good. We should not do that. It is bad to lie in a way that justifies an invasion. We should avoid doing that if at all possible. So in response to this, Adam something made a YouTube community post. So apparently Hasan called me a Nazi following my recent video on the Gravel Institute. Here's a clip of it, and that's the clip that we just watched. Adam something, in my humble opinion, dressed him down very effectively. To summarize, such takes of his are the product of his simplistic American left streamer bro views being thrown into the vortex of nuance that is here. Oh my god, Pigeon. There's no way you didn't hear that one. That was loud. Worse, a European armed conflict. He goes on to... Now, to be clear, Adam something is condescending in this post. However, given Hasan's initiation of this drama, I would say it's fairly warranted. I can't really blame Adam something for the tone, and I think that what he said here is you know, pretty fair. Hasan didn't mean to insult me. He simply reached the narrow limits of his understanding of the world, and since he then couldn't control the resulting emotional outburst made up of fear, confusion, and frustration. For all these years, he and others like him were able to surf the waves of Bernie Sanders, a person with an actual overarching political philosophy and nuanced worldviews. By attaching themselves to Bernie's correct points, these commentators were able to conceal that all their views are just a variation of the same 3 to 4 half-baked, disjointed ideas in lieu of a coherent set of values and an understanding of the world outside America. That is a very thorough dressing down, to put it lightly. Of course, Hasan talked about this as well. Here we go.
And it's the worst kind of freaks that love this shit, which is 5,000 likes.
Oh, keep in mind, by the way, I'm only showing clips of Hasan's stream here because, like, I can't watch, like, a full hour of Hasan getting mad at a post every time. Obviously, the clips that we're watching from Hasan are pre-selected to be the most vitriolic. This clip in particular is 7 minutes long. I don't even know if we need to watch all of it, but let's just get a feel for it, I guess.
Likes in 2 hours, dude. 5,000 likes. Well, I watched his entire video. What is this? I understand he's in a lot of stress. Lots of people have been piling on him, me included, over his Ukraine takes. Such takes of his are a product of his simplistic American lefty streamer bro views being thrown into the vortex of nuance that is Europe. Worse, a European armed conflict. Yeah. I simply, as an American streamer bro, leftist, cannot understand the complexities of arming Nazis and training them. It's, oh, you fool.
I do, by the way, think it's a little bit ironic that Hasan's response would indicate the simplicity of his worldview because he misrepresented it in a way that did exactly what Adam Something accused Hasan of doing, which is taking nuance and reducing it to fit into like the 3 or 4 neologisms that he's comfortable with. So, yeah.
You just do not understand. You do not understand. I'm a European and you're a non-European. So you don't understand the complexities of arming and training Nazis. You know, I did grow up in Turkey, so I do have a different perspective than I guess he does on NATO involvement. But I don't know. I mean, I personally do not favor an institution that literally fucking ripped ultra-nationalist violence through the country that I grew up in. But hey, but that's not a European country. Isn't that right? Hungary, on the other hand, is. You know, that's firmly planted in Europe, whereas Turkey is not. A lot of Muslims in Turkey. Never going to be a European country, despite its, you know, despite Istanbul being in Europe. Hey, fine. As a European myself, this is, of course, nothing new to me, which is why I've been able to make these.
If I go over all of these points, we'll be here for a while. I just want you to get the vibes. So that's why I'm not responding.
Detailed, nuanced points of view. Oh, God. Does it hurt when you're cranking yourself so hard here? Even when it comes to actual neo-Nazis in Ukraine, instead of the expected knee-jerk dismissal and denunciation. Oh, you fool. He literally is saying, like, you fool.
Cool.
You do not have a nuanced approach to neo-Nazis being armed. I, as a European, on the other hand, I do. People who aren't familiar with the complexities of Europe and Ukraine, and especially the current war, might find those takes of mine scary at first, which I understand. Disingenuous people might even say that I was defending Nazis in my video, The Guerrilla Institute. But this is, of course, not the case.
I'll skip ahead to the end.
A lot of assessment here that shows a gigantic blind spot. Okay? The gigantic blind spot is that you just don't care about Nazis because they're not going to kill you. I think that's what you think. U.S. bad isn't a political philosophy. It's an ontological foundation. First of all, the U.S. is bad. Like the idea that it's not bad is fucking so stupid.
Essentially, Hasan's reaction to what Adam Something had to say proved every point that Adam Something had. Yeah, there's not really. It's pretty much that simple. So Adam Something, of course, came out with more posts in response to this. Hasan also did a thing on Twitter. We can't go over everything here, you know. Hasan's Twitter tantrum about me is a very useful lesson about reactionary thinking and intellectual honesty. Basically, Hasan tried to discredit Adam Something by doing the text version of clip chimping and didn't really engage with it, and just, it's all so dumb. It's just embarrassing behavior. You can all look at it if you want. It's all public. There are videos on it. I'm just giving the gist because I'm about to get roped into this. And Adam Something talks about how reactionary thinking works, and says that Hasan is engaging in it, and I think that's fair here. He concludes, while both Hasan and I are leftists, we're nothing like each other. I am a leftist of consideration, while Hasan is a leftist of sheer circumstance. Had he been born into a different environment, he could very well be typing out anti-feminist posts on Twitter right now. He'd only need to switch out a few words as the rhetoric and thinking are already the same. By contrast, I feel I'd find my way to leftism eventually, even if I was born into different environments. I'd likely get caught up in reactionary thinking, but eventually my analytical thinking would prevail over my feelings. So this is about the concept of being morally lucky, which is philosophically tenuous, but the basic idea here is that Adam Something is making the argument that you can more reliably trust the beliefs of a person who had to fight to arrive to what they now believe in, rather than people who just are there because of what they've been exposed to. Obviously, we're all products of our environment, but I do feel like there are a lot of leftists who have a problem of being leftist because they have leftist positions, but having the logical systems that could have led them down any road. Like, it's not like the systems they have would lead them to leftism. They're just already a leftist and happen to have those systems. I'd like to believe that the way I think about the world, like my moral systems, would lead me back to being a leftist every time, assuming that I had those systems. It's a good way of knowing that you have the toolbox necessary to deal with problems or changes to your thought processes, even if you're already a leftist. Like, basically, you don't want to be the leftist who's left behind by history because new problems arose and you didn't have a consistent system to deal with them. You want to be someone whose principles are such that they can stay progressive, even in new situations. You want to be like those cool, like, second wave feminists who didn't become weirdo transphobes because all of their pro gender liberation advocacy was based on biological essentialism, you know? You want to be like those feminists who are like 75 years old today and are like hippie pro-trans grandma types, you know? Like, you want to be able to keep on par. You want the logic to stay there, and that's the goal. So, you know, Adam something Adam something did his second reply, and it was then that, because the drama had exploded a little bit, Hasan, as I understand it, started to look to my community. Here's a clip from his stream on Twitch.
Strange too, because like Vosh constantly talks about Vosh derangement syndrome or whatever the fuck, and his community loves talking about that shit. Meanwhile, they literally have brain disease. Like, you know what I mean? This is like,
he apparently spent like 30 minutes looking through my subreddit, finding people who were critical of him and disagreeing with them and yelling at them and stuff. Here's another bit.
horny. All these horny,
Horny.
Westoid, Angloid brained, disgusting filth in the chat. Oh man, that's a sick burn, bro. You fucking killed him. We tactically love Nazis, actually. Yeah, you fucking killed him, dude.
He's consistently demonstrating the limits of his understanding on this issue.
Adam SSP Pogiggle.
Neoliberal debate lords, dude. Yeah, not surprising that they would fucking align with Nazis like this. I mean, he is pro-NATO, so of course he is literally tactically going to align with Nazis over USSR involvement in Europe. So we know that already.
What USSR? There is no USSR anymore. Okay.
Which is the history of NATO, riddled with it. Many such cases.
Yeah, the USSR allied with Nazis before NATO even existed, okay? That NATO was just copying the USSR political strategy, all right? Hey, listen, NATO had some Nazis in their higher up posts after World War II. The USSR full on allied with Nazi Germany. They were in it before it was cool. No, this is very dumb. I've said this before, but unfortunately, Hasan is morally lucky. He's a leftist because he's a leftist. His internal thought processes on this are very bad. And most notably, he is incapable of receiving criticism. It's like foundationally impossible for him to hear criticism, and to respond to it, and to learn from it. It's just not possible. I genuinely do not think he is capable of it. I have no idea what that is a product of or what led to that. But it's deeply unfortunate. And, you know, that's not really a problem when what you're saying is true, like when he's saying we need a higher minimum wage or we should vote for Bernie Sanders. But man, does it become a problem when what you're saying is not true. Yeah, it's an issue. Now, the reason that I'm involved in this isn't actually because he was looking through my sub. It's because, and I'm not kidding, he had the audacity to DM me on Twitter, essentially asking me to moderate my community so you guys would criticize him less. That is not a joke. I'm sure you can all infer how I feel about that just on the face of it. I'm not going to leak DMs, but he managed to be very patronizing while doing this. At one point, I think he basically said something along the lines of, I know your head can get big because you get a lot of views. Like he was referring to my war streams. And I'm thinking like, from you, man? Like my head's getting big because I allow my community to disagree with him? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I told him that my community's concerns are legitimate. I would be doing nothing to change my existing policies. I also told him that I found it very hypocritical that he would ask that of me when his mod team has banned everyone who speaks positively of me in his community for like years. It's true, his mod team just auto bans like anyone who praises or defends me in any respect, therefore shutting me out of what would otherwise probably be the largest community that I could potentially appeal to. And Hasan has never done anything about it. And what's more, I've never asked him to do anything about it, because I try not to like dictate the moderation policy of other communities, even if I think it's ridiculously unfair. You know, like I've complained about it on my stream, which I feel I have a right to, but you know, I wouldn't DM Hasan about that. But he DM'd me because you guys were, you know, criticizing him essentially. I think this demonstrates a remarkable fragility, like just a demented level of fragility on his part. I don't even really know what to say about it, to be honest. It's so much of a self parody. You know, I don't even know. Hasan got quite racist about it as well. Well, how did he find a way to do that? Coconut Island clip? Coconut Island clip. Hold on. Coconut Island. Do. Hasan addresses Vosh's. Oh, 40 seconds. That's convenient.
I reached out to Vosh earlier today. I was like, listen, dude, I see something going on that I don't like. I'm letting you know
It's fair criticisms. By the way, even when I think criticisms against a person are warranted, I usually take a look at my community to see if they're fair, you know? Like, for example, I think that Hasan deserves plenty of criticism for his handling here, but I don't think that gives you guys free allowance to make any stupid old criticism of him. But from what I saw in my subreddit, it seems like it was fun. Like it just seems like valid criticism, you know? So anyway,
never-ending death spiral. It will turn out bad if you just like allow this to foster. And he was like, he was literally like, yeah, no, fuck off. Like these were legitimate criticisms. I was like, bro, they were literally clipping from my Twitter where I was criticizing Russia to make it seem like I was pro-Russia. How is that in any way, shape, or
I didn't tell him fuck off, of course. I didn't engage in that language, but it's the sentiment of what I said, you know.
form legitimate criticism? You know what I mean? Like here, I still think he has like ideologically progressive values. I just don't think that this is anything but just people literally just saying Hasan.
Yeah, well, this is obviously clip, but he also does a lot of us, I think. Yeah, yeah, again, I don't know. Yeah. Seems pretty dumb. I just don't know, like, how would you ever get him to accept criticism? I just have no idea. I genuinely have no idea whatsoever. It seems like any criticisms that you could make of him, like, would always be framed and interpreted as being bad faith, or being insincere or something. Maybe he and Destiny are more similar than either of them is willing to give, give credence to. Ish. You know, it's always, it's like there's always something, right? To an extent, I do this as well, right? Where I frame, I mean, obviously, like the whole VDS meme, where like if people criticize me, but I think I think usually when I write stuff off as VDS, it's often because it is. I mean, I'm usually willing to like discuss. I guess I just don't think I've ever engaged in this level of like obvious denialism, if that makes any sense, right? Like messaging a person to tell them to get to moderate their community to stop criticizing me for a thing which is pretty much empirically correct. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what to do with this. I'm sorry. Look, Hasan is a huge figure. He is just like a massive, um, figure in the online left, and I can't like replace him in his size. So if I had the ability, I would try to like, I guess, guide him in a more positive direction. But I have no idea how to. If I felt it was possible, I would worm tongue that shit. Oh, Hasan, your words are so wise, but if you considered changing course in this one issue, like I'll pad it if I need to, but I can't. Like there's nothing I can do here, you know? Like there's not I can't. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about, right? Like there's obviously a strong utilitarian benefit in trying to get his positions to be like as good as possible. And if I can't like debate him into it, like, you know, if I have to like coddle him into it, like I'll go for that too, as long as more people are on the right side of a position. But I can't do that here, so. Oh yeah, people are saying he's racist here. Okay, I'm sorry.
The Middle East into fucking shreds. You know, places that are a little bit closer to me than your fucking dumbass podunk Hungarian city that you love jerking off to about its fucking, you know, institutions and civil engineering. Disgusting filth, dude. Eurocentrist trash. Cut a liberal and a fucking fascist bleeds.
Wait, how in the same rant can you talk about Westoids and Americanoids, but also Eurocentric filth? Wait, where on earth can a person be? Russia, I guess, yeah. Well, was that a racism? It was definitely a little weird, champ. Maybe not necessarily racism. Alright, that's enough, you fucking drama frogs. Oh, this? Oh, yeah. In one clip, he said you would be scared to debate him. Is that true? If that's the case, then we could stir a bit of a fuss over it. That would be a remarkably unwise claim for him to make. That is not true. Okay, I would be very surprised. Did he address your criticism of his mods, though? No, he ignored it. I mentioned it twice, and neither time did he acknowledge it. It's very obvious that he doesn't want to take responsibility for the behavior of his own moderation team, but wants me to curtail, you know, my own.